Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Museum District Association First District City Council Forum.
All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Mike Dickinson. I'm running for City Council here in Richmond. Richmond is under attack. The last 3 months in Richmond have felt like we are under attack by these lawless rioters every single night that threaten our very way of life. I'm running because I want to restore order and give us a fighting voice at City Council. It is very scary, the people that we have on our City Council in Richmond. We have some very Seattle and Portland people on there that want to turn our city into Portland, Oregon, and Seattle. You know, I haven't heard anybody else talk about defending the police, and that is the critical element. We need to not look to defund them, we need to defend them. To me, the right to protest is not the right to resist arrest. It's not the right to vandalize. It's not the right to block traffic. It's not the right to run around and defecate in people's front yards, which is going on Monument. And what can I say? You know, our city, our terrible mayor, and our really, wimpy city council hasn't done anything about it. You know, we need to lean on VCU. VCU pays no property taxes. Dr. Rao, they pay no property tax. We need to lean on Dr. Rao and make them pay property tax, or make them kick out the students who go there that participate in these acts. The president of the SGA at VCU was arrested in one of these riots, and as far as I know, she's still a student. She should have been booted long ago if VCU wants to be our friend. That is the bottom line, is defend the police. We have to, without them, bike lanes and leaves mean nothing if our neighborhood is not safe. Well, I think our budget is completely bloated. If you look at it, there's $500,000 for a press office, $850,000 for utility commercials, and what about that $1.8 million that Stoney just pulled out of the air? We don't know where it went. You know, we need to look at the budget. If we're gonna defund anything, we need to look to defund waste from the budget. And just from a cursory look at the budget, it's about 20% inflated. We need to look to repeal the restaurant tax. You know, Councilman Addison voted to raise the restaurant tax in 2018. The restaurant tax needs to be repealed. And it would have been had Councilman Addison voted no on it, but he voted yes on it. We also need to look to repeal the tobacco tax that was in the budget of 2019. We need to get rid of these taxes to get people to come to the city and spend money. That's how it works. Right now, people have no incentive to spend money in the city. The meals cost more, the taxes cost more, it's not safe. They're trucking it down to Henrico or Chesterfield. That's one of the big things we need to do, freeze the property tax. Right now, you know, our city government is performing at an incompetent level, and all of these people that own property in the city and businesses in the city, they're getting it handed to them. We also need to look at what we can do to help small business. The economy just doesn't keep going along unless we make things safe and we give people a reason to spend money. And the only way we can do that is to look to cut taxes and repeal taxes that are already on the board. I pledge to vote no for any tax increase, and if I get elected, the first thing I'm going to do is look to freeze the property tax, because right now, quite frankly, our city just spends. And what does it say when people work their whole life to buy a building to rent to somebody, and then have the person get there and now you can't evict them? People need to be realistic about what they do and what they expect government's job to be. Government's not here to be our nanny. No, we shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be looking to restrict the property rights of others who have worked hard for their property, for the right to rent it and make a return on their investment. We shouldn't be looking to restrict those people's rights. And we need to give a lifeline to those kids to get out. If we're going to continue to provide a mediocre education, then we need to just let people opt out that want to opt out and give them a voucher, because it's unacceptable that we keep charging people premium tax dollars to go to a school system that's woefully inadequate. I don't really see the purpose of why we're worrying about these bike lanes when we can't fully fund the schools and fix the schools first. I'm all for pedestrian and bike recreation, but my priority is focusing on fixing the schools. And if we can't fix the schools and provide a safe city, then none of the other stuff, none of the other bells and whistles really, to me, are important. I believe we shouldn't go about making private developers rich at taxpayer expense. I believe that when it comes to development, we need to find developers that want to do it themselves. We should not be engaging the taxpayers' money with developers, because every term in Richmond, it always loses. We need to not look to fund developers with taxpayer money. We shouldn't be risking taxpayer money on these fly-by-night get-rich schemes. We should look to spend that money on schools. And if developers want to come If developers think there's money to be made, they can put up the money themselves. We should not be in the business of making other people rich. It's very difficult to deal with the city. We need to make everything online. There's no parking at City Hall to turn in any of these forms or submit any of these forms. So you have to print them out. You have to drive down there. There's nowhere to park. So doing business with the city is a headache. I'm going there to fight vigorously for the people of the 1st District. I'm going there to fight to make sure that we're protected, that we have a police department that is well funded, that we pay the lowest possible taxes, and that we have the right to defend ourselves. You know, we don't need a candidate for the 1st District that's going to march with BLM supporters like Mike Gray. We don't need a candidate from the 1st District who's going to say that it's a good idea to talk about defunding the police like Andreas Addison. We need a candidate from the 1st District that's going to sit here and say, I support the police 100%. I haven't heard either of them say that. And I've heard them give long-winded answers, but neither of them have committed to saying that they support the police 100%. We need a candidate that's going to get things done and cleaned up immediately. And that's what I'll do. That's why I'm running for city council, because I want to go there and shake things up and get this city turned on its head so we do business like a business and none of this other stuff. We need strong representation to take on the strong opinions that are down there at City Hall. You know, LeVar Stoney, Mike Jones, Stephanie Lynch, they're crazy. They're far out. They're Marxists. They want to change the tone of our city and our country. And we need strong leadership to go down there and refute them and not go along to get along like Andreas Addison has. He's a nice guy, but he's not a fighter. He wants to go along to get along, and we don't need that. We need someone to go there and disrupt and fight and push back for the common citizen, the taxpayer. And that's who I am, and that's who I'm going to fight for, and that's why I'm running.